All right, so my panel this morning, allow me to introduce it from my close to left. I have Brian Bunde with me. He is a digital strategist. And of course, next to Brian is the lady who needs no introduction, Sheila Mwanyiga, who is also a businesswoman, fantastic also on social media platforms. And next to her is Kaluhi Adagala, who is a food blogger. Again, if you're not on social media, then you haven't seen Kaluhi's Kitchen, which you need to go and literally stalk her Instagram. They're all here with us this morning. It's good to have you guys.
Let
me start with Kaluhi all the way to my farthest left. You're a food blogger, but let me ask, what is your favorite platform to be on and why?
I used to really like Instagram because I like the perfection, showiness. People can be able to showcase their art.
Right.
But nowadays, I really love Twitter. It's my favorite social media platform because it's very easy to interact with my readers in a very free, very open, very safe manner, which other platforms cannot duplicate.
Right.
Yes.
Sheila, for you, you have both a YouTube channel and you still have Rembesha, which you also promote on your Instagram. Is it obvious to say that Instagram is your favorite?
At the moment, it's really hard to choose, but I'd say Instagram is my favorite because then I can do these live Instagram, conversations where I'll spend an hour online and I'll speak to people in different places around the world.
Right.
People in, apparently Thika has its own area code as well. I mean, it's fun. Social media is just hella fun.
Right?
Yeah.
Brian, for you, what's your favorite? Twitter.
Definitely.
Let me ask you, with Twitter being for you your favorite, do you feel as if it has also grown your individual brand?
Definitely, because from Twitter, I'm able to express myself.
Right.
I'm able to share my views in terms of what's happening on a daily. I can hype a different party when I'm not even there. So there's where everyone's making the money.
Sheila, for you, how has Instagram influenced the growth of your business and even still for you individually as a brand?
It continues. I got a media background and I understand, excuse me, traditional media and then new platforms. And Twitter is fast. I love Twitter, but it's very fast. And when you're pushing brands and you're pushing products, a lot of the clientele that I deal with want time to be able to portray their best foot forward. They want, their images to look just right. And so Instagram works best for my business because I can tell you where to go and find these people. And initially, Twitter had a word limit. There were only 140 characters you could use. But then on Instagram and on Facebook, you can say, come here, we're situated here, call these numbers, book, special offer. But Twitter is just going to give you 140 characters. Then you could do a lot more with Instagram.
Someone would argue it's even because the reason why Twitter has limited characters that it's even better. Because then again, people don't talk too much.
But it depends on what you're pushing and at what point you're pushing and what the messages that you're conveying. So in being online and being a businesswoman, I always look and think, this will work best on Twitter, this will work best on Facebook, this will definitely work best on Instagram.
Kaluhi, for you, how has the digital platform helped grow your brand and how has it also helped to grow your business? What has it done for you?
For me specifically, it has just helped solidify my status as a food authority in the country. And as Sheila has said, each platform has its own, say, aura, so to speak, that certain things that will work on Twitter that will never work on Facebook or Instagram.
Right.
For me, I feel like Twitter has been very instrumental in growing my brand because of the conversations with people and because people can relate to what you're saying. A single share by one person who has a larger following than myself gives me bigger reach than it would have been on Instagram or Facebook, for example.
So it has a ripple effect into how then your business grows for you?
100%.
Brian, what I'm hearing a lot from Sheila and both Kaluhi is that these different platforms, you can have one message, but you share them differently. As a digital strategist, could you just expound this for us? Because you might have, for Kaluhi, she's here and she has this amazing pancakes on her blog, which she's able to give more details. She comes on Twitter because of the limited characters. She has to refrain her message a little bit differently. Take us a little bit deeper into that.
Most of the time, in terms of digital, you have to also figure out the type of content that you're posting.
Okay.
So in terms of posts, the captions that you're using, definitely you don't have to be wordy. You have to be straight to the point, and you don't have to beat around the bush. That's why even with Twitter, okay, the characters have now increased to 280. So definitely you have to curate your message, and if you beat around the bush, definitely you lose a couple of customers. Then even in terms of the creative that you're accompanying with the caption, it has to be very enticing to the point that even if I read the caption, it's not that interesting. The creative that has accompanied it, if it's GIFs, if it's polls, if it's videos, they're definitely worth opening and making me retweet that post.
So it's important how you tailor a message.
Yes, yes, yes.
Okay, Sheila, what are some of the do's and don'ts that you see people doing when it comes to, let's start with the do's, let's start with the positives, the do's.
Authenticity. People can pick up on, excuse me, on a message that is honest, it's real, on a communication that is not intended to con you into doing something different. And my brand, both Rembesha and myself, I realized a long time ago that we were growing, and we were growing simply because people who would follow my channels would think, you know what, she's telling it like it is, she's saying it like it is, this is who she is, and we've been consistent with that message. So the do's would definitely be honest about who you are, be very clear about what you stand for,
right,
and where you're going. And you know, we go through things. In the morning I could be upset about something. Think about what it is that you're posting, because whatever you're going to put online, this is my version of eternal life. If you put it onto the internet, it will live forever.
Right.
So be very careful what you post, be very honest about what you're posting, and be very consistent about
Consistency, authenticity, I hear that. Kaluhi, for you, what are some of the do's that has worked so well in growing your business?
I'll talk about two. The first one is originality. I feel as Kenyans we have a tendency, if you see one thing is working for person X, you get onto the same social media platform, you duplicate the exact same
monkey business.
Exactly. Like you don't look into yourself and tailor it according to what you want. But if you're original, trust me, it will take you much further than duplicating things. It's a lot more work. It's a lot more creative muscle, but it will take you further than just getting in and copying. And also that's what will get you further in, especially the international level. Because if you reinvent the wheel, no one wants to see the same thing over and over again.
Right.
Be original, stand in your truth. And another thing I feel that has worked for me is, even though you're a brand, remember you're also a person. When you're talking to people on social media, approach them as you. Talk to them as a person. Don't be cold like a brand, as in...
Have personality?
Have personality, be free. Don't be rigid, don't be cold. Remember you're a person before you're a brand. And people want to put a face to a brand. They want to talk to a person. Be warm, be free.
Brian, what are some of the don'ts that you see people doing, and you're just, or even companies with their own brands, and you're just like, no?
Trust me, there's some accounts in Kenya that people tweet. It's like they address, okay, it's like you have a personal beef.
Yeah.
Imagine handling a brand which definitely has a couple of outages and downfalls. Then instead of humbly accepting that, okay, we faulted in this, we're sorry, we're working on this,
right,
you now go harm on that person. That makes sense. Most brands, you see, people forget that if I see this brand is acting like this, definitely I'll move to another brand. But people always think that, okay, social media is temporary. After, let's say, 5 years, a new platform will come in and people move to that. It's not like that. People will always remember the first time you treated them.
Brian, do influencers work? Do they shape how a brand operates? Do they impact a company's or individuals' profits?
At times, yes. At times, no. Most of the times, some brands in Kenya still, they use influencers who at times it's their first time that they are doing the campaign, or they barely know much about the brand.
Right.
So when people are just going on the timeline, they're told, okay, everyone go online and post this artwork. And let's say tarnish this other brand. It's not usually like that. You see, for a brand, it should be all about what do you believe about this brand that makes you use this brand. you should be in a position whereby if a brand approaches you, let's say like KTN, you definitely watch KTN, you know the shows that it has, and to a point that even if they are not paying me, I can honestly vouch for KTN.
Beautiful. So sometimes you find influencers who do a job and they still do not even familiarize themselves with a brand,
Yes.
with a product.
Or
rather.
they've definitely loved another brand, but this other brand has approached them. So, yeah.
There's a bit of...
Yes.
Sheila, YouTube. YouTube
Yes.
is notorious because they don't pay well. YouTube economics is horrible, but you have a YouTube channel.
Yes, I do.
So does being online pay? Someone would be asking, does being online pay?
Yes, it does. It pays, and not because you're looking at YouTube to pay you.
Right.
It pays because you're looking at the bigger picture. You're looking at yourself as a platform that communicates, that shares information. I started my YouTube channel, Sheila Lives Out Loud, 2 years ago. It's going to be 2 years in June of this year. We're into season 5, and the first 4 seasons were, you know, blood, sweat, and tears. We're making this happen, we're making this happen, because you've got the vision. So you're authentic about what you're posting every Monday, and you're sure and consistent about what you're doing. And here we are going into season 5, and I'm now sponsored. That show is now sponsored by the Waterfront Karen. That is Nairobi's newest mall. It's beautiful, it's wonderful, and it's a partnership that we've just began where I can go in there and continue that show and also let you into the world of the Waterfront
So
Karen.
2 years later, so there's patience involved.
There's
Instead
patience,
of you wake
yes.
up today morning and you wonder why
You
isn't why my
cannot
Facebook...
start in the morning and say, in the evening, nitakuwa akina ma sponsors. It doesn't work like that.
But the other thing I feel like people and company don't understand about social media. Social media does not equal sales. Advertising equals sales. Social media is there for relationship. A lot of people do not understand that correlation, that just because you have 1 million likes on Facebook or 1 million followers on Twitter doesn't really equivalent or mirror one's profit.
Definitely. If I have 1 million followers and I want to sell 1 million tables, definitely it depends with how I portray the tables.
Right.
Apart from even how I portray the tables, guys might also see how you engage with people and what other services you're offering. So definitely there's a huge relation between how you communicate and the worth of definitely what you're offering, because you see out there it's easy for you to buy followers.
Yeah.
You can approach, there are so many companies out there that offer free followers, but the challenge is the free followers definitely are from China and they won't engage with you.
They won't interact.
Yes.
Sheila, I'm seeing you nodding your head.
Yes, I agree completely with him. It's great to have 1 million followers. It makes you feel nice and you get lots and lots of likes. But ultimately, your reason for being on social media has got to be very clear. Are you there for likes? Are you there to push message? Are you there to push product? And those are many different lines all vibrating at the same time, because you say to yourself, the more likes you get, the more followers, the more interest there is on your pages. But it's not just interest. It should get to a point, if you're going into business online, that your likes are also money. I can push communication. I can let people know that you exist as a brand. I can identify with you and lend my brand integrity and values to yours because we are vibrating on the same frequency. I carry you, you carry me. And most importantly, it's saying, other than letting people know you exist, how do we make sure people engage with you as well?
Right.
Because it can't just be you come in and interact on my platform and you remain as a brand with your 5 followers.
And Kaluhi, you've done that very well, especially with your Instagram. It's very colorful. You have quite a large following. You've even won one of the best blogger 2013, if I'm not wrong.
2016 and 2017.
2016 and 2017.
Yes.
So would you also agree with that aspect? And Sheila also touched on something very important. It takes patience, it takes hard work to get the way your Facebook page, your Instagram page is looking like. Could you also comment on that?
You know, I feel people don't take the work of people who work on social media seriously.
Right.
People have this perception of you'll get on today, by next week, you've blown up. By next week, you're successful. By next week, you're influential. By next week, you're rich. No, it takes time. Like for me, I feel like I really dug my roots deep after the 3-year mark. About 2-3 years, just like Sheila, and her YouTube channel. It takes time. And to touch on the matter about followers, some brands feel like they only want to work with someone who gets, for example, 30,000 views on YouTube, as opposed to someone who gets 300 views on YouTube. But maybe the person who gets 300 views on YouTube is more influential than the person who gets 30,000 views on YouTube.
Right. Exactly.
Like on Twitter, someone can have 3,000 followers, and out of the 3,000 followers, 1,000 listen to her, they're loyal to her. But someone else bought 50,000 followers and only 20 listen to her. Who is better? The one with the less followers. And I think we should move away from the importance of a big following and focus on the engagement,
and
quality. And overall influence of a person instead of followers.
Well, you have a digital strategist here with us. Brian, do you agree? That what she said, you find that brands or businesses are looking for who has the numbers and not the interaction and not the relationship, which social media does.
Definitely. Okay, for strategists like us, the challenge usually is the client, because now the client will say, I have 5,000 followers. This person has 1,000 followers. Yeah. This person with 1,000 followers definitely has engagement on their timeline. But the client, by the time they actually understand that that 5,000 followers doesn't equate to engagement, and even in terms of eyeballs, they barely understand that. But with time, we are holding different sessions for them to learn.
Yeah. Sheila, you've been in this for quite a long time.
Yes.
What are some of the crazy expectations that people tend to have who jump onto social media to grow their businesses? Off-the-roof expectations.
Expectations in life. We're all brought up with expectations.
Right.
You expect you'll clear your campus and get a great job and drive a fancy car immediately. But expectations sometimes set us up for disappointment, and social media is no different. I remember at some point when I had close to almost 750,000, total followers on all my platforms, and I was asking myself, but why am I not making the money that I should be making, and yet I command this amazing following online, and I'm not making or tapping into these amazing, crazy big budgets. And I started looking at my models differently and saying, you know what, it's great to have the numbers, but you have also got to look at your content. You've got to be very, very deliberate about what are you posting, why are you posting it, for whom are you posting this? Because it took me stepping back and saying, I need to know who these 750,000 people are, and beginning to carry out analysis and saying, I have these people, why are they following me? What keeps them following me? How do I get more? And now I'm at more than 1.2 million, and it's beginning to make financial sense for me, but it took time.
It took time.
And those expectations, I had to put them off the table and say, I meet you as a client where you are. What do you have that identifies with my brand? What does my brand have that I can lend to yours? So that if I grow, you grow. If you grow, I grow. Because I want you to keep coming back for business from me. I don't want to have all these wonderful fancy numbers and everything when all they're really just doing is like. That's not enough.
Kaluhi, why is it so important? Because Sheila has touched on it. Why is it so important for someone to know probably you cannot know all 750,000. But I want to say to have an idea of who your people are, to have an idea of who your customers are behind the numbers, because those are just not numbers, those are faces, those are names, those are genders, those are nationalities. Why is it so important that as a businesswoman you need to understand your clientele online?
Let me try answer your question with a question.
No problem.
If I don't know what my clientele wants, how will I be able to fulfill their needs? If I don't know what they want, then probably I'm wasting my time by putting out things that are not relevant to them. If I know what they want, I can merge it with what I want to create, with my art, with my everything I'm doing online. I merge it together, and if I match what they want and what I'm creating, that way we can grow together. And that way I can be able to add value to their lives. If I don't know what they want, there's no value I'm adding to their life in any way.
Right.
Yes.
Brian, let's quickly touch on the importance of business referral, because now I could tell Sheila, you look great. Who did your hair? That is face-to-face. But now that conversation has gone online, where you find people who are asking for jobs online, putting their CVs online, people who are asking for referrals online. Why is that so important, and how does that translate into one's career, into one's business venture, into one's branding?
For me, I've done a couple of influencing gigs.
Right.
And most of the times because of people recommending me. I try and post good and engaging content, even if it's not paid content. I genuinely love certain products, so I will honestly share my honest opinion. So when people see my content out there, definitely they'll say, oh, by the way, this guy's content is actually that good and it's worth it, so definitely we can work with this guy as an influencer. So for most guys, it's usually about when you post a certain type of content, people will see it, then they'll say, oh, by the way, this lady knows how to cook, this lady knows how to do makeup, this lady or this guy knows, okay, or has the best recommendation in terms of restaurants, where he goes out to, cars. So with certain platforms, certain people are followed because of how the type of content that they share, and they are believed in terms of recommendations.
Right.
Yeah.
All right. I'll start from Kaluhi. What will be your closing remarks, especially for someone who is looking to tap into social media to grow their brand, to grow their profits, for example? What would you tell them?
Start with what you have, start where you are, and grow from there. Remember, it takes hard work. You will have to work your fingers down to the bone if you want to be successful. Don't compromise on quality. Remember, quality is key, quality over everything. And if you're doing what you love, it will pay off.
All right, yes. Sheila.
For me, I'm definitely going to say, don't underestimate the power of partnerships. You cannot do this alone. I am on social media as Sheila, but I've got an army. I don't do this alone. It's not just Sheila. It's Sheila and the needs and concerns and the cares and the wants of others that I am posting to and others that I am working with. Check on your quality. Be consistent with what you're posting. And most importantly, don't lose your authenticity and your voice. Don't copy. I mean, I see so many other people. Today I'll put up a post and say, you know, certain things, and 2 days later, somebody else who's also an influencer will take the same words and rework them and tweak them and then put them up, and I'll say, I know where I saw this, but it's okay. Keep setting the pace and keep being consistent.
All right, Brian.
Don't buy followers.
Very true.
Buy ads, use ads, use ads. With ads, you can reach the people you really want, the people who really matter. In terms of, because you see with social media, when you buy ads, they will ask you, who do you want to target? You can choose the guys with the most followers, the biggest media houses, the types of activities and interests that people like and people believe in. And in terms of content, also remember, try and engage people. And last but not least, when you switch off your phone, remember that out there people don't care about you. So be nice, and because you see when you're offline, people will go online and say, oh, by the way, this guy is actually nice. Yeah. So people always remember the things that you do offline and bring it online.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So there you've had it from Kaluhi. Make sure you work hard. Don't compromise the quality. Sheila, partnership and authenticity. And Brian, don't buy followers. Just buy ads. It's even better. It's good for your business. All right. So that was Brian Bunda, who is a digital strategist, Sheila Mwanyiga, who is a businesswoman, and Kaluhi Adagla, who is the food blogger, and of course the face behind Kaluhi's Kitchen. Again, I insist, go look at her blog, or rather how Instagram. Yes. But don't do it on a hungry stomach. That is all that we had for you this morning on this Thursday on Morning Express. Let me loop in Michael. Michael, have you learned anything today?
Yeah, a lot. I've learned a lot. Actually, I didn't know that you can buy followers. I'm just wondering, not that I want to do it, but how do you buy followers?
See Brian aside.
All right, I'll side by him and just find out. But thank you. Yes, that was very, very informative and definitely a lot to learn from all of you. And social media basically is the way to go. Somebody once said that for you to have a business and not advertise, it's like winking at a girl in the dark. Trust me, I've tried it. It doesn't work. So you need to advertise. So thank you very much for joining us this morning. And that's where we'll have to wind up the show this morning. And from me, Michael Gitonga, wish you a fantastic and a wonderful day. God bless.